Ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to introduce to you the 19th head football coach of the University of Michigan Wolverines. The upcoming 2013 season will signify his 31st year of coaching football at the collegiate level. Starting at Grand Valley State University in 1983, he also had assistant coaching positions at Western Michigan University, Toledo, Oregon State, and the University of Michigan. While at the University of Michigan as an assistant, the Wolverines won the Big Ten Championship 3 times, including the 1997 National Champion and Rose Bowl Championship team. Over the past 10 years, he has been the head coach at Ball State University, his alma mater, for 6 years, San Diego State 2 years, and the University of Michigan. As head coach, he has guided each team to bowl appearances and has received Coach of the Year awards at each university, including the inaugural recipient of the Hayes Schembechler Coach of the Year Award in the Big Ten in 2011. He is married to his lovely wife, Laura, and they have one beautiful daughter, Kelly. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Brady Hoke.
Thanks, Jack, for that introduction. The one thing Jack wanted me to mention, that we've had 2 very outstanding players from Ottawa Hills. West Ottawa, I knew I'd get you on that. West Ottawa and Rob Renus and a young man named Desmond Morgan right now. So you owe me for putting that out there. It's great to be here. It's great to be a part of this. It's really a privilege, and it's a great honor to be here. I want to thank the Sheridan, and I bring that up to you because this is home for us during 2-day camp. This is where we stay as a team. Our players were in fall camp. They do a tremendous job. And then each Thanksgiving, we invite the players' families in to Ann Arbor. It always is exciting when you have that last game of the year against Ohio. Right after Thanksgiving, but they feed 580 people and do a tremendous job. So hopefully you enjoyed it, you love the food. We use them for all of our recruiting and those things. So they do a tremendous job, and I wanted to mention that. I know Larry said the same thing. On behalf of our staff in the University of Michigan, really like to start out by congratulating the 14 individuals, the 14 men who are being honored here tonight. You talk about sacrifice and being selfless, being a coach. That's what it's all about, and I'll get a little more into that in a minute. I do want to take a minute. We've got most of our staff here, and just introduce them real quickly, and I'll have them stand. Chris Singletary. Chris played at Michigan, is our player personnel, recruiting coordinator. Daryl Funk, our offensive line coach. Bob Lopez is in operations internally for us, and I wouldn't get much done without Bob and Mike. Jeff Heklinski, wide receiver coach, recruiting coordinator. Al Borges, our offensive coordinator. Kurt Malley. Kurt is the only guy I know who has 5 consecutive Big Ten championship rings from the University of Michigan on 5 teams. Coaches our secondary. Roy Manning. Roy just came back from, I don't know where you went, Roy, but we just hired Roy back as our outside linebacker coach. Mark Smith coaches our inside linebackers. Mike Stand-Up Bomer is operations, but he's in the external side of it. He's the assistant athletic director, associate athletic director in charge of football. And Fred Jackson. Fred coaches our running backs and has coached the running backs at Michigan since 1947. But Fred was an outstanding high school coach in the state and does a great job. So if you can, just give them a quick hand. a lot of hearing me talk. You know, I don't even like to listen to myself sometimes. But the one thing I can tell you, I'm a son of a coach. My dad was a principal, was a teacher, and was a coach. And I was never going into coaching. Never. When I graduated from Ball State, I was a criminal justice major, and I was a federal probation and parole officer. And that was my duty, was to become a Secret Service agent and protect the President of the United States. And that's what I wanted to do. And because of influence of a college coach, that one of our recipients and honorees tonight has a background with, Coach McClellan, I really started getting into coaching. And I have a brother who's 2 years older who was always going to be the coach in the family, and is. He coaches for the Chicago Bears. And he always was going to be a coach. Well, I started helping a guy coach high school football. And Laura and I had gotten married going into our senior year. Really good idea for me. I probably needed it. Really a good idea. But had a guy come to our apartment, knock on the door. I'm 23 years old. I'm making $22,500 as a federal PO. She's making $18,500. We're both 23 years old, living in a two-room apartment in Muncie, Indiana. So we're doing pretty good. I mean, we're loaded, you know. But the guy comes and he knocks on the door, and he comes in and he's going to be the new high school football coach at Yorktown High School, county school. He said, "Hey, I understand you played at Ball State." Yeah. He said, "I'd really like to know if you could help me coach." I said, "Well, you know, I've got 6 counties. I got 44 people on a caseload I have to see. All the stuff trying to talk myself out. I don't want to do this. I want to protect the President of the United States." Well, he, pretty persuasive. A guy named Dave Tanner. And so I said, okay, if I don't have to be in federal court in Indianapolis, then I'll help you. So I'm making $22,500, she's making $18,300, whatever it was. 8 weeks later, I come home, I said, "Laura, I'm going to quit my job." She looked at me and, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." I said, she said, "Now, why do you want to quit your job?" So I want to coach. She said, "Why?" And I told her 2 things. I have great parents. And when I went to Ball State, and some of you have heard this, I had 2 goals. First goal was to play football. The second goal was to drink every beer in Muncie, Indiana. Okay, and I'm being honest with you. And I tell recruits and their parents when I meet with them, hey, I'm not proud of those 2 goals, because not one of them sang about academics. I knew better than that. But I had a coach named Chris Allen. Chris Allen sat me down and he asked me one question. He said, "What's your name?" Guy had been coaching me for 2 years, and I kind of look at him and say, "Well, I made a great impression with you." And by the way, Chris had just come to Ball State 2 years before from Central Michigan. He had coached up there. And I said, "Coach, you know my name?" He said, "No, what is your name? What's your given name?" "Well, it's Brady Patrick Hoke." And he asked me, "How many Brady Patrick Hokes are there?" so on. Then he asked me how many Hokes there were. I have a sister 5 years older. She's the first graduate of the Ball State Dance School. And so she's been teaching dance down in Ohio for a long time. So everybody knew who she was. My brother and I played together. We're 18 months apart. Played together. And he said, you know, every time you make a bad choice, a bad decision, because of what you do socially, you're giving a black eye to the Hoke name. And I can promise you, they'd get me up at 5 o'clock in the morning and run me for getting in trouble or whatever. That didn't bother me. That bothered me. So when I told Laura that I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to coach, and I told her because of the kids, she told me, go be the best coach you can. The guys that we're honoring here tonight are coaches. Guys who wouldn't have been as successful as they are. Guys who would not have been honored here tonight for the history and what they've given the high school coaching. We are very honored and very appreciative because the future of our country are the kids we coach. And tonight, we have 14 of the leaders and the best in the state of Michigan. And on behalf of Michigan and our football program and the university, we are so grateful that you're here to be inducted tonight in Ann Arbor. And we're so honored to have you here and be part of it. Thank you so much for having us. Congratulations, men. The selfless acts, the sacrifice. You've done it for the kids. Thank you very much, and go Blue.